Hello, Mom Accounts community. Happy Thursday, everybody. It is Thursday, February 8th. Welcome, everybody, to my weekly lives. If this is the first time you are catching me here live, hi, hello. My name is Noemi Aguilar. I am the founder of the Mom Accounts Bookkeeping community and the Mom Accounts Bookkeeping course. And I also run a six-figure bookkeeping and tax firm, all from the comfort of my home, where my husband and I have been able to establish this amazing business that provides for our family without having to have a degree, fancy office, or literally having to waste a lot of time making this happen. So as we are live here today and as you're catching me, I love to go live every Thursday to make sure that I come in and provide you with more resources and guidance and just more information to help you establish this bookkeeping journey. Because if it is something that I have learned, I know that if it worked for me, I know that it can also work for you, so that you do not have to pick on taking care of your kiddos, working, right, or having to be at a job that you do not enjoy. So I am so excited to be here with you today because I go live and I get to share and train you girls on some pretty amazing things. So as you're jumping on, as you're here, say hi, hello. I want to know where everyone is at. Where are you listening from? And I want to hear where are you in this stage of your bookkeeping journey? One of the things that I want to also kind of cover in today's training, I want to share with you girls a couple different tools that I use and that you can use also for your bookkeeping business, whether you're starting it, right? Because that's probably one of the biggest questions I always get asked. Well, what software do I use? Which one is better, QuickBooks Desktop or QuickBooks Online? But there's also Xero. There's also Hurdler. There's also Wave Apps. Like, what do I use, right? And I think this is a big question that a lot of bookkeepers make, because they're like, okay, so which one? Which one am I doing? Hello, Texas. Hello, Nadia. Hi, Maggie. Hello, everybody, as you're joining. Like I said, drop in the chat if you're here live. Do hashtag live and let me know where you're watching from. What state are you in? And if you're catching this on the replay, make sure you do hashtag replay. And I also want to know, where are you listening from? Because it's always so much fun when we get to do that. Let me get my stuff ready here because I want to make sure that we have all the right sites. So one of the biggest questions that I always get, Noemi, what software do I use? Now, I personally love to teach you bookkeeping, right? So that is ultimately my goal. My goal is for you to understand how bookkeeping works. My goal is for you to understand the terminology of bookkeeping, okay? Because in the end, let me fix my camera a little bit because I feel like my head is kind of chopped off. There we go. In the end, what I want you to focus on is really understanding the theory behind bookkeeping. So that way it does not matter what software you end up using, you're going to be freaking good at it, because in the end, it's really, the fact that bookkeeping is the same language spoken regardless of the software that you are using. It is the same workflow. It is the same format. It has the same terminology. Okay. So I want you to know that it doesn't matter what software you use, right? Because bookkeeping is going to be the same. What is going to matter is what usage do you need it? What do you need the software to do for you and for it to serve your clients? Okay. So that makes a very big difference. Okay. Hi, Nayeli. Hi, Anai. Hello, girls. And I wanted to talk about that today because that's a very common question. That's something that, when it comes to softwares, right? Like, I know there's always going to be a preference of softwares. And what I have learned, it's not necessarily that it is one software is better than the other. I don't think that's true. What I do believe is, which one you get used to using ultimately. So like ultimately, which one which one makes sense to you, which one is easy for you, and which one is going to give you the most capability of usage for your clients. Okay. So as a bookkeeper, what I want you to focus on is like, how are you going to serve your clients? And according to how you serve your clients is how you are going to pick the software that you want to use. Okay. You know what, ladies? I forgot to go live on TikTok, and I'm going to go live on TikTok right now because the ladies in TikTok absolutely deserve to hear this training too. So let me just make sure that I get myself live on TikTok. Here we go. Now, again, the only thing about TikTok is that you won't be able to see my screen, but I guess you'll get the training out of it. Okay. All right. So let's talk about some of my, let's say, like lower end examples. Okay. And what I mean about lower end is just, certain softwares that are not to the capacity of what a, let's say, QuickBooks is at or Xero is at. But does it get the job done? Absolutely. Okay. So I want to, here, hold on one second. Let me get into my, I don't want to use that email because I have like a sample email that I want to share with you girls with certain accounts to create. So you can kind of see how it looks like. Not that one, this one, text home testing. Okay. This is the one I wanted to use. So that way, again, it just makes sense to what decision you're going to use. So the first ones that I'm going to show you are two softwares that are very commonly used for like lower end clients. And when I mean lower end clients, this can be for clients, let's say, that are small. You want an online cloud-based portal or access to their software. You can still sync their accounts, right? You can still, categorize. You can still create simple reports for their tax filings. And, they can invoice through there if they wanted to do that. You can have detailed chart of accounts and you can reconcile. Those are your basics that you want to be doing when it comes to bookkeeping. And a lot of the times there's businesses who are just starting out, or sometimes it's just like a simple business. To me, like a small, simple business is like clients making under $100,000 of revenue a year. That is considered something small. And a lot of the times people are comfortable there, right? These are maybe like your real estate businesses, sole proprietorship businesses, companies that are just starting out, maybe like Etsy shops or maybe like, Cricut businesses and things like that. They're small businesses, right? They don't have a whole lot of volume. Maybe sometimes virtual assistants, right? If you set this up, maybe even you as a bookkeeper, when you're starting out the bookkeeping, these softwares are pretty simple and easy and they're going to get the job done. Okay. So let me share my screen so you guys can see. Which ones I'm talking about. In the chat, can you like guess which ones I'm trying to to share with you? Let me know in the chat. Before I share them, let's actually do this. Let's do a little poll. Before I share these softwares, put in the chat if you know which ones I might be talking about, or if you know of like a simple software that is going to help you with the bookkeeping. Okay. I'm talking about the bookkeeping girls, not to organize your bookkeeping business. I'm talking about being able to do bookkeeping. Okay. Okay. We have some QuickBooks, Dubsado, Dropbox, Taxstone, ladies. Those are not for accounting. Okay. That's not for bookkeeping. That's not to be able to do the bookkeeping. That's to be able to organize our business as bookkeepers. Absolutely. Right. But I'm talking about accounting softwares that are kind of very small. A lot of QuickBooks Online. Okay. You're going to be surprised then. So these two softwares that I'm going to share with you, again, are super simple, small. Yes, Wave. We have Wave being one of, my go-tos. Again, this Wave one is going to be very simply for like small clients. And again, to me, a small client is that their revenue, the amount of money they make is under $100,000 a year. Maybe tops 150. But when they start to make more money, right, we need a couple more different features. But this will do for maybe beauticians. This will do for esthetician, nail shops, right? That are small, independent, sole proprietor, right? Small clients, small businesses. So Wave is also a free accounting platform to use. You can invoice through here, okay? You can collect payments through here for your clients if they have to do that or they want to do that. And you can do the bookkeeping through here, okay? Some of the features that it has, right? Invoicing, payments, accounting. This is where we're going to go into in a little bit. Receipts, right? So for clients to be able to organize their receipts, this is an option. It shows that you can do payroll, but I'm not going to lie, I've never used the payroll system here. I don't use anything that is not ADP for payroll, so I would not know how good it is. And advisors just, you know, they have pretty comprehensive, I would say, kind of trainings on how to use their software, okay? But this is also a free software. Now, the thing about this, you're going to be like, what do you mean it's free? Well, you can use, okay, you know what? This is new because they did not have the pro plan back in the days. The starter plan is pretty much going to give you all that you need, especially when it's a small client. So you don't have to pay for it. But if you want, you know, again, kind of like a more sophisticated, right? This shows having it be more polished, being able to accept online payments at a discounted rate, auto import bank transactions, merging to categorize transactions, digital captures, right? If you want just a little bit more of a feature and an affordable one, okay, this one's not that bad either. But can you get away with the zero starter plan? Absolutely. You absolutely can. Okay, so this is the one that I want to show you, girls, so you can see how easy it is to get in here. Okay, so we're going to create an account. I'm going to do one of my testing Gmails that I use. Okay, we're going to do this one, and then I'm just going to create a password for it. Let's see. And Wave Apps, like I said, is nice because it's very simple. It's very easy to just kind of navigate through here. Okay, so we're going to put test. I'm just kind of like making this for the sake of the sample that I want to show you. Okay, so what does my business do? Let's say I'm a virtual assistant. Okay, so that's what I do. I'm a single member LLC, right? That's what I want to do. Single member. Okay, so we're going to be like going through this and creating the account with Wave, but I want to show you how easy it is to also incorporate and use this. Okay, so when did you start your business? And just say I started it back in 2020. Customers, let's say I have 11 plus. Do I accept online payments? Yes, I do. I'm gonna just say right now that I'm using QuickBooks payments. Okay, so the next part, okay, how can we help you? What would you like to do in Wave Apps? I want to be able to send invoices. I want to be able to organize my books. I'm not interested in these other things right now. Okay, so normally that's what you want to be doing for your clients. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just start with the starter plan. Like I said, you can look at this option, which is a more affordable option too, if you wanted to and not have to do QuickBooks Online. You can absolutely use this option, and still like $16 a month is not bad. And if you pay for the year, it's only $170. That is not bad at all either. Okay, so again, I would recommend this highly for those who are small businesses, estheticians, nail shops, right? And starting businesses, you know, that just really need a place to track their income and track their expenses as they're building their business. Okay, so we're going to go here, continue with starter. Okay, here I am going to submit my phone number just for the sake of this, but I got to remove it because I don't want to put my phone number on blast and then everybody's calling me. So here, let me see. It's sending me a verification. So hold on one second. TikTok, I'm going to step out for a little bit. Yeah, imagínense I put my phone number out there and you guys are going to like blow up my phone. I think that's so funny. Okay, so, okay, looks like it created. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen now. Okay, so now it has created, right, the QuickBooks Online, I'm sorry, Wave apps or Wave accounting online. So if you see this, mamas, it looks very familiar to QuickBooks Online too. What I have loved about a lot of these accounting softwares that I've experienced is that they all kind of have the same format, which helps it for our brain, right? It really helps kind of make sure that we have this viewpoint of where to find things. And like I've always said, mamas, when it comes to bookkeeping, what matters is that you use the terminology, understand the terminology, so that way it does not matter what software you are using. The terminology, the workflow, the process is always the same, ladies, okay? So here is your dashboard, okay? So these are some of the things that you can like go through. You can brand invoices, which is pretty cool to do as well. Tell Wave about your business. You can start creating a client list if you wanted to. You can customize invoice settings if you wanted. You can set up payments. So like if you want to be collecting payments, you're going to invoice or collect credit cards online. You can absolutely do this. This one right here, right, is also being able to connect your bank account and have the transactions start to automatically sync. You absolutely want to do this, especially if you're using an online platform. Why not? Okay. And then start to look at the numbering part. Okay. So again, all of this here, you can also go here to create a new transaction estimate, whatever it is that you are looking for. You can always go here into the accounting to make sure you have the chart of accounts, right? Now, again, the chart, this is the one thing I don't like about Wave apps is that Wave apps does not have like a very like detailed chart of accounts like QuickBooks Online or Xero would have, but it gets the job done. I don't believe you can do many sub accounts. Okay, but it's gonna get the job done. And if you need to create a transaction, I'm sorry, a new account in your chart of accounts, you can, right? So Wave Apps is very detailed as well. This is where you would be able to input. You can import automatically, syncing it with the bank accounts. You can upload a bank statement with the CSV transactions, right? So that's like an Excel file. Or you can put in manually transactions like the good old days, right? If you need to. So that's how you would do this, mamas, okay? And then this is like your register that is going to start to also be able to track all of these transactions. So Wave Apps, ladies, is going to get the job done. Like I said, you can go here also to the sales and payments tab where you can create estimates, create an invoice, set up payments. You can even set up reoccurring payments if you wanted to, right? This again, it's very, very nice. Any purchases, any bills, vendors, or products and services that you have to import, any receipts, right? If you want to track receipts, I think this is actually new because this like the receipt part wasn't here a couple years back when I started to explore Wave. I have maybe like 2 clients that I work with that use Wave, so that's why I'm pretty familiar and I like it. But yeah, so Wave is another option. This is pretty neat that you can like take the pictures and add it to the transactions. You can see here, you can upload them from your mobile. You can upload them from the web or from the email, right? So whatever organization system that you have for receipts, like you can import these here into Wave Apps. You know, one thing I haven't seen, I wonder if it has an app. Ah, here we go. I was just thinking about this. It looks like Wave Apps like read my mind. I was wondering if they had an app. So yeah, here you go. You can download the app. So that way you can scan the receipts directly into these transactions. This is game changer. This is pretty cool. I'm actually really liking Wave Apps, ladies. So this is nice. I like it. And then in the accounting, right, you have your transactions. You can do your reconciliations, right? That one's also very important to make sure we're reconciling your chart of accounts. Obviously everything is going to always offer you to connect with, bookkeepers, but we don't need that because you are the bookkeeper, ladies. Okay. You are the bookkeeper. When you go here to your banking, you can also connect multiple accounts, credit cards, right? Different bank accounts. You can look at any of the payouts, right? So if you're collecting money from here, you can do that. Oh, this is a neat feature too, that it can have also an insurance object insurance option. So if you're looking for insurance for your business, this is another option that you can do. This is pretty cool. I love it. Your reports, right? That's always very important. Let's look at the reports. So you have financial statements, right? As we're looking at any tax reports, any payroll reports, customer reports, vendor reports, and any account balances, trial balances, and things like that. That's the other thing about Wave, that actually Wave does not have as many report options like QuickBooks Online would. But as you can see, it works perfectly fine for small businesses. It works perfectly fine for starting businesses that really do not need such sophisticated reports, right? So ladies, if you are wondering, well, QuickBooks Online is expensive. QuickBooks Online, has a very bad reputation right now that it's getting rid of, like, let's say QuickBooks Desktop, and you're worried. Don't underestimate Wave, okay? Wave is a perfect option for you to have, ladies, to use for your clients as well. Get really good with Wave. And guess what? It's like free to use. You can see all the features that it has as a free software, okay? So let me know in the chat. If you have worked with Wave before, let me know in the chat, or if this is the first time you have ever heard about Wave, let me know as well. I want to have some conversation going because you girls are too quiet in the chat right now, okay? Your guys' energy is like making me be sluggish and I'm tired. I need energy in this chat. Are we awake? Are we alive? Is this good? Is this boring? Please talk to me, ladies. Oh my goodness. I know. I'm just like, this is the thing. It's so hard, ladies, to keep an energy of like, it's just kind of funny. Question. Can you guys see my screen? Oh yeah, you can, I think. Yeah. I don't know what was going on. There was a glitch. Maggie, this is your first time hearing about Wave. Heard about it, but I use QuickBooks Online. That's what Vicky says. Evelyn says, I'm getting used to use Wave. Yeah, I mean, it's a neat option, right? And a lot of the times too, ladies, what I have learned is this is a good option. You know how we'll come across clients that like want to do their own bookkeeping, right? And honestly, you can't mess up Wave, again, unless they do a huge mess, right? Obviously, they don't know what they're doing. But it is more affordable, right? And it's also very simple and simplified. It's not as explicit or as detailed as QuickBooks Online. So it is user-friendly. Because this is very usable for small companies. I wouldn't recommend Wave apps for like a company that has a lot of transactions happening. That to me, if their revenue is like over 150,000 a year, like honestly, I wouldn't recommend it. I would not recommend it just because of the reporting and the chart of accounts that is not as sophisticated, right? But this is a perfect option to start off with, okay? Awesome. Oh, now you girls are talking to me. Thank you so much. I love it. Yeah, Alejandra, that's the thing. You can use both. Like I always ask my clients, I've never been the kind of bookkeeper to be like, oh, you have to use QuickBooks Online, or oh, you have to use QuickBooks Desktop because that's the only thing I use. If they have used Wave, like I have a client that's on Wave and she likes it. I was like, okay, cool. Like I absolutely can come into Wave and continue doing the bookkeeping for you, right? Because I don't have to move a platform that works well for you, right? That's what I mean also about you choose the software according to your client's needs, okay? So it's okay to not always use QuickBooks, mamas, right? Like I know it has a big name and that's the thing, that QuickBooks just has a big name, but there are other options out there. And my goal is that you're always understanding the concept of bookkeeping, so it does not matter what software you use, you're going to be badass. Evelyn, thank you so much for that validation. You girls are just the students really busy taking notes, right? That's why you don't talk in the chat. Yes, okay, that is going to be my vision from now on. That you girls are just, super concentradas, very good students. You girls are listening and taking notes at the same time. I love it. Oh, so good. Okay, so let's look at another option. And this other option, this one I personally did not use, but I had a client that used it. And when I got into it, I thought it was also pretty simplified and pretty easy to use. It's called Hurdler. Okay. Hurdler, like this, HURDLR.com. Now, this one also, I found it to be very similar to Wave Apps. And also pretty easy to use, but I would also consider it to be very limited to the accounting and bookkeeping as well that we need. Okay. So I would recommend this as well for more smaller businesses as well that don't need super explicit details. Again, their balance sheets, like all of the stuff that they include. I mean, it gets the job done, kind of like what Wave Apps is, right? But this one's also pretty easy to navigate through. Here, let me see if I can create an account because I want you girls to see how it looks like inside. This, can help you decide. I'm going to just put like we're freelancers. So the only things that I don't like about these things, let's say like what I don't like about like Wave or like Hurdler like this is that it doesn't have like a dashboard for you as the bookkeeper to be able to access multiple clients. You know what I mean? So that's probably going to be definitely a downfall because you're going to want to have, when you're working with multiple clients, like one login, like a dashboard, like you have with QuickBooks Online, obviously, right? So that's the only thing I would say. So this gives you a 7 days free trial. Okay. So you'll get these 7-day free trials. So you can kind of go through here. This one is definitely, when you see it, I think does look a little bit more intimidating. But again, we know what we're looking for, right? So we want to be able to track our income. Okay. You can link your accounts here. We want to track our expenses. You're going to link the account to track expenses, right? I don't believe here you can do reconciliations. That's the only thing that I'm looking here. Yeah. So you won't be able to reconcile. So again, this is also very limited, but also nice for small businesses, small clients, right? We really just want to track, for tax purposes. We just want to see how much we made. We just want to see, what our expenses was. Now that's not the proper way to do bookkeeping, right? Because you want to have more details of information. But for simple small businesses, I think this absolutely gets the job done as well. But if I were to choose between Wave and Hurdler, I would choose Wave. Okay, absolutely would choose Wave. Brandy, if less than 150,000, that to me is considered a small company, small business. And I would use Wave instead of Hurdler for it, actually. So now that I'm looking at Hurdler, I don't like, my client used it just for reporting purposes, but I'm like, as the bookkeeper, I don't think I would ever sign up a client here, honestly. Like, this is me being like super raw and real because it doesn't have reconciliations. I mean, it has the reports and stuff like that. But it'd just be kind of like tracking, you really can't do much of the bookkeeping here. So between Hurdler and Wave, use Wave. I would 100% recommend Wave for sure. The next one that is very popular out there, obviously, is one that we hear is Xero, right? So Xero is very similar on the level-wise of softwares with QuickBooks Online. So you'll be very surprised that for accountants, right, there's also the account here. This would be kind of like for kind of like QuickBooks Online in a sense, right? So you'll be able to become partners with them, explore the programs, put your clients under Xero, right? And again, it's very similar to the process of Xero. I actually had a couple mamas here in the community who took my course. And even though I teach you on QuickBooks how to do bookkeeping, like I said, my goal ultimately is that you take what you learn and be able to apply it to any of these softwares because it's the same terminology and it's the same flow. Okay, so again, this is another option that you can come through. And obviously the one that I always talk about, QuickBooks Online. So QuickBooks Online or even QuickBooks Desktop, okay? Those are my features, okay? But when you come here to QuickBooks Online as a bookkeeper, you're gonna wanna come up here, products and features. You're gonna want to look at the accounting version of QuickBooks Online, okay? So that way you can create an account for yourself and then be able to bring in your clients. Okay, so these are some of the options that they have right now. Like I said, QuickBooks Online is a little bit more on the expensive side, but it is going to be the more detailed. It is going to be the most elaborate. It is going to be the one that anything you need, you're going to have it here, right? So is it worth the money for it? Absolutely. And, you know, to me, I would bring them into QuickBooks from the beginning. But the only downfall about bringing them onto QuickBooks Online that I have learned, which is why I still use a lot of QuickBooks Desktop, is that I get a lot of clients who are not going to be, let's say, on the computer, right? So they're not going to be using the computer much. They're not going to be, you know, finding the value of using or paying for a software like QuickBooks Online that they're not using. So there's two ways that I would go about this, okay? What I would do is, number one, tell them, hey, we're using this so that you can have access to it, right? So you can set them up on QuickBooks Online and they're going to pay for QuickBooks Online and they get a little discount coming in under you, okay? And then you're going to have the opportunity to be able to get into their books, right? On the dashboard portion of it. And obviously they're going to be paying for it. Or you can take on that fee and then you just charge it to your client on your monthly subscription retainer that you have with them. That's another option. Now, the last thing is that I end up using QuickBooks Accountant Desktop. I take the expense on of QuickBooks Desktop, okay? And I do buy it. I mean, it's going to run you from like $700-ish. You don't want the enterprise version. You literally just need QuickBooks Desktop, QuickBooks Accountant Desktop. Okay, you do not need this one, just this one. So the desktop version is going to have that opportunity for you to get it a little bit more affordable because you do not need, right, the essentials. The essentials is going to be like invoicing and stuff like that. That's only if you need it. Now, the thing about QuickBooks Desktop is you do have to call it in. You can't just like download it here from their site. So you would have to call it in. So here's the phone number. And when you do call, insist, mamas, that you want QuickBooks Accountants Desktop, okay? Because they will absolutely insist on selling you QuickBooks Online. And we don't want that, right? Like, especially if like you're not trying to do online. But the desktop version, the reason why I still use the desktop version and I still pay for the desktop version is because I get a lot of small clients that, you know, will never find the benefit of using QuickBooks Online. So I don't want to put that expense on them. Could I put them in Wave apps? I absolutely could, right? And use that for their tax purposes. But also, again, QuickBooks Desktop is going to give me a lot of features that Wave apps wouldn't. And a lot of times, even sometimes can be even like how to set up those rules and things like that. So that is why I will accommodate my services to a client according to their needs. If they are interested in doing, let's say, collaborative bookkeeping, meaning that they want to be involved or they are invoicing, they're the ones also, you know, collecting payments, and I'm categorizing and everything else, cool. So that means that, you know, we want to do QuickBooks Online. If I have a client, because I do have those, who are going to be like, Noemi, I really do not care ever to get into my QuickBooks software. You take care of it. I just want reports. Okay. That being an option, I absolutely then put them on QuickBooks Desktop because they're not going to find the value of paying for a monthly subscription for QuickBooks Online when they're not using it. You see what I mean? And I don't want to take on that expense because I already have QuickBooks Desktop for it. So I'm going to be writing out the QuickBooks Desktop software for accountants until I die or until QuickBooks finally decides or whatever they decide to take it away. But rumor is QuickBooks Desktop is going away, but older versions, okay? What is still going to be available is going to be the accountants, QuickBooks Desktop for accountants, and QuickBooks Enterprise, okay? So those are still going to be available. So again, you get to choose one or the other, mamas. Financially, make it make sense to you as well. Make sure that when you choose a software, it is something that is going to help you work smarter, not harder. Okay. The whole point of becoming bookkeepers and becoming virtual bookkeepers and setting up these tools and these systems is so that you are not physically doing all the work all the time, right? How can you do it in a way that is going to facilitate it for you as you're doing bookkeeping for your clients, okay? Any questions, mamas, please put it in the chat to have some time to answer some of your questions. Brandy says, coming in under you. Do you have a video on this? Brandy, I believe I do. If you are in the starter membership, there is a section for QuickBooks, and I believe you can pull it there. If not, check here in the free group and just do like a little loop search in the Facebook group. You can do like a search and look for QuickBooks Online setup or something like that. I'm sure I have a video. I probably have a video of everything already. But for sure it's in there. The other thing I would just say too, Brandy, if you don't see it, is you have to create a QuickBooks Online accountant account. So you need to have your own account. Okay. That is going to give it to you for free for your firm. Okay. And then you're going to be able to add clients on the dashboard. So whenever you create an account, you'll be able to have these dashboard opportunities to add clients under your wholesale amount, which means they're still going to get it at a more affordable price than if they were to buy it directly with QuickBooks. So that's another perk that you can get there. Let's see. I saw some questions coming on TikTok. Liliana, can you show us how to create budget sheets for contractors? Liliana, oh my gosh. Okay. So I was exploring with this yesterday for a non-for-profit organization because we're submitting a pretty big proposal and they were asking for budget reports. To create budget reports, I was exploring it with QuickBooks Online, and it is pretty cool because as long as you have the bookkeeping in there, it creates these reports for you. All you really have to do is just like make sure that you have the years that you're using it to compare it for and what is projected for 2024, for example, and QuickBooks puts it together for you and just print out those reports. So I personally have never done like a physical budget report, but as I was exploring QuickBooks Online yesterday for a non-for-profit on budgets, I saw that feature on QuickBooks Online. Again, these are the features that QuickBooks has that Wave app doesn't. That Wave doesn't. I call it Wave apps because a long time ago it was called Wave apps. Okay, that's how old I am. But yeah, no, the QuickBooks version of budgets was actually pretty solid. I liked it. It was pretty good. Let me see what other questions. Can you use QuickBooks if you are self-employed and work on construction? Absolutely. You can use their QuickBooks Online accounts. Just make sure that you don't use the thing about QuickBooks. Okay, here, let me tell you girls something. I'm going to show it to you. If you are a business owner, okay, if you are a business owner and you need to use QuickBooks Online, let me tell you which ones not to get, okay? And I'm going to share my screen here with TikTok because I know the question came in through TikTok. And I'm going to share my screen. If you're a business owner, okay, I would recommend that when you go to QuickBooks Online, you are getting either the Essential or the Plus, okay? Do not get the Simple Start, ladies. The Simple Start one, honestly, is like booty. For $15 a month, might as well go to Wave, okay? Honestly. And that's what I like, that I would rather choose Wave over the Simple Start. But if you do decide to use QuickBooks Online for your growing business, you can use one or the other, either Essentials or the Plus, okay? this is what I would recommend. Just look at the features of what it is that you need. So that way it helps you decide which one do you want. And business owners, can I say something too? Business owners, please do not get the QuickBooks a bookkeeping assisting. There's just so many things wrong with it, honestly. I'd rather you work with somebody who is a bookkeeper that you can connect with. There is tons of them in my mom accounts community, but do not choose the QuickBooks live bookkeeping support. Like, I'm sorry, but QuickBooks, if you hear this, it's booty. It's bad. Okay, so that's what I wanted to say on that, especially those of you who are business owners, to do not buy or pick the Simple Start. I'd rather you use Wave for that. Okay. Let me see. We had a couple more questions come in. Emma, is QuickBooks Desktop subscription based or one-off? So Emma, the thing about that is that it's actually changed. When I bought desktop version, oh my gosh, this was like 9 years ago. I was able to do like monthly subscription. I didn't have to pay for it full upfront every year. I know it's changed, so I'm not gonna lie, I do not know the details of it now. You might have to purchase it full out. But when you think about it, I know like a full out purchase is gonna sound expensive, but like let's say I think it was like around like $800. That's about $66 per month. Okay. So it's not that bad. It really is not that bad when you buy the desktop version. But Emma, I would insist to ask if they have a subscription base for the desktop version. I mean, who knows? I know I had it, but again, I've been grandfathered in for so long having QuickBooks Desktop. So yeah. What would you say is the easiest niche to get into bookkeeping with? I'm very new still in your course. I think the easiest niche is going to be anything service-based. Anything service-based is going to be pretty easy to get into because you don't have to worry about sales tax. And that should be pretty easy. Anything that's pretty much service-based. Monica says, I have a client who does hundreds of checks and I'm looking for an app to integrate with QuickBooks Desktop and he can create the checks and I can download the reports. Monica, I don't know if QuickBooks Desktop might have a tool for it. QuickBooks Online might though. Okay. So this is the thing. This is what I'm saying, that sometimes QuickBooks Desktop might not be the best option, right? If you know that this is time consuming and it's well worth to move them to QuickBooks Online because of the tools that you can implement to make your life easier, Monica, absolutely make that decision. Last week, I had a client that I work with who has a lot of Stripe account transactions. So when they're like Stripe account or Square, right, you have to account for the gross amount and then the fee so that it matches the payout or the deposit, right? There's a lot of transactions. There's people who have hundreds of transactions a month. So I needed something to automate that process for me. It cost me like $110 per year for this tool that I found. But guess what? It has now saved me hours of work. Okay. And it is well worth those $120 that I paid for Stripe to now automatically create that in QuickBooks for me. So again, Monica, if you don't see anything and it's being consuming for you, okay, think about the option of QuickBooks Online and see if you can find a tool to help you integrate that. It says, a friend told me about SimplyWise to store receipts, but I was iffy. Like, let me ask me, not you. What would you recommend for receipts? That is so funny. I love how you girls like this is like me siento honrada. Like I feel very honored when you girls like really take in consideration my opinion. Honestly, I was talking to my husband about that the other day because I was telling him that, I mean, I make a lot of conversations and have a lot of conversations about business and taxes and all this good stuff, right? But ladies, I don't dress like an accountant. Look at me, okay? Like I am in t-shirt, leggings, and like chanclas, you know? And I was telling my husband, I was like, maybe I need to dress more professional. Maybe people don't take me serious. But what you just said, amiga, of like, you need to ask me, that just validates that my clothing does not matter. if I know my stuff or not. Like, you girls trust my thoughts and opinions and my, content. So that says a lot. So thank you for that validation. So I've never used SimplyWise for receipts, ladies. It doesn't have to be that complicated, honestly. Find again what is easier for your client and what is easier for you. For an app, if you notice that your client is out and about a lot, for an app, I've used Receipt Lens, RES receipt, like Receipt Lens, and it's an easy way to capture it. Not all people will keep up with those receipts. So this is what I do. A lot of my clients, I tell them it is your responsibility to save on to those receipts. I do create Google folders too. So that's another way. And I'll help them set it up on their phones. So that way they open up that Google folder and just upload the pictures in there. And that way I grab them and just kind of save them on their TaxDome or on their Drive, whatever it is, right? I have clients right now that because we use TaxDome, I create a receipt folder for them and I say, upload your receipts to me here, So I don't think you have to pay for any kind of app, honestly, when it comes to organizing receipts. It's just, find an online system for it. I had a client who used to email them for me, and all I did was literally download them to a Google Drive and have them in a folder on my emails. So, just kind of don't need to spend on apps and stuff. Like, receipts shouldn't be that complicated. And in the end, I always put it back on the client's responsibility that they need to have these receipts tracked. Brandy says, when should you quit your full-time job? Brandy, you need to quit it right now. I'm just kidding. Brandy, I would say, okay, obviously, this is what I would suggest, Brandy, if you know that you want to start your bookkeeping business, right? So if you're working a full-time job right now, and this full-time job is what provides for your food, for your rent, for your children, right? That you need it to survive. Obviously, you can't quit that job, right? Let's be realistic. It's going to take a little bit more work. It's going to be more sacrifice to build your business because you have to replace that income, okay? So that's all going to depend on you. Now, if this job that you're at, okay, let's say you can quit that job and it won't hurt you horribly, right? Meaning you might have your spouse, you have a partner, right? You have someone else who helps help you support financially. Then you might not need that job, right? That's going to be a personal internal decision. But you can quit that job or even reduce the hours. So that way you have time to work on your business. Okay. Last week, I don't know if you saw it, Brandy. I did an interview with a single mom from the group, how she made that transition. Go check out that testimonial. Go check out that video on her success story, on how she pulled the plug on her job to fully invest in her business and was able to literally replace that income. And she's a single mom, right? So very, very inspiring. Go back and watch that one from last week. It was really good. Someone says, I want to learn, but I'm not a mom. You don't have to be a mom, girl. Now, I do talk to moms. So if you don't mind being called a mom, then we're good. Let's see what other questions came through. If I get a course with you, would it be considered a tax expense for my company? Yes, it is a continuing education expense. How do you post customer deposits on back end? I'm not sure if I answered that question. I'm going to hang out with TikTok a little longer because there's a lot of questions that are super irrelevant to today's topic. But I'll answer your questions in a little bit, TikTok. Okay, let's see. Anything else coming in here through the Facebook group? So he was using QuickBooks Online, a completely mess. Oh, Monica. See, that's the thing. If we let our clients use QuickBooks Online, it's probably going to be a huge mess. So use QuickBooks Online, but don't let your clients get in it. That's what I would suggest, Monica. Oh, you're so sweet, Monica. I love you too. I feel represented with you because I would prefer to read a book than getting completely dressed. Honestly, Monica, okay, you guys, this weekend, I'm going to a gala for the church. So it's going to be like a very fancy dinner. It's going to be like an annual fundraiser that we're doing. And I bought a very fancy dress. Okay. You better believe I'm going to be all fancied up this weekend, but that happens like once a year. But yeah, so it's fun to dress up. That's the thing. I think that when I get to dress up, it is just going to be so much more fun to dress up than if I have to dress up every day. You know what I mean? Oh, goodness. All right, ladies. Well, I hope today's training was helpful and it helped you open up your mindset a little bit more to the different accounting softwares and platforms that are out there that don't always have to use QuickBooks Online. But what I do want you to take away from today's training is that I want you to, number one, know the terminology and understand what happens in the back end for bookkeeping. Know those debits and credits, know what a journal entry is, know when you do a transaction, how it's going to affect this other transaction, okay? Learn the terminology, speak bookkeeping. Because in the end, if you choose Wave, if you choose Hurdler, if you choose Xero, if you choose QuickBooks Online, the terminology is going to be the same, okay? And choose a software according to what is going to make your life easier as the bookkeeper and what is going to be more efficient and usable for your clients. That is how you decide what software to use, not on the opinions of which one is better. Because I'm honestly going to say, I don't think there is a perfect software. I do have a software preference, and that is QuickBooks Desktop, but because I've been using it since like forever, right? I have a love-hate relationship with QuickBooks Online. I have a love-hate relationship with Wave, but I get to use it to the capacity according to my client's needs, okay? And that's what I want you to take away with you today, all right? So I hope this was a good training. What I do want to remind you, ladies, is if you have not taken one of my challenges, we're going to have our next challenge on February 20th, okay? So start signing up for this challenge, okay? We're going to talk about my 3 secrets is bookkeeping for you and how you can start to put together your 6-figure firm as a bookkeeper. All right. So I hope this was good. I will see you all next week. Sign up for the challenge if you haven't signed up, and I'll talk to you later, ladies.